Hey guys, what's going on? I'm just finishing loading up the recycles into my truck to take those in. Hopefully free up some space in my garage. Then I gotta come home, pull the Jeep out, put the pink Mini in, and I'm gonna start ripping out the subframe in order to do the control arm bushings. And there's a possibility a couple of my friends are gonna come over to help out. So if they come out, I'll introduce you to them. If not, I'll see you back when I get the pink Mini in the garage. So happy to say that all of this space is now free. So I still gotta take some oil and stuff in. I got one more bag of cans loaded in the truck. And the back of the truck is all full of like clear bottles and stuff. So I just gotta load up the one bag and take off. So I'm back from doing the recycles and swinging by the bank. So I got to loosen the tires. I'm gonna throw this thing up on jacks, pull the front bumper off, and hopefully start dropping the subframe over tonight and putting the control arm bushings in. I'm still hoping a couple of my friends are gonna swing by to help out, but if they show up, we'll probably just go get food and nothing really get done to the car, which I'm completely okay with. So let's see what we can get done. So the good news is I did pick up one fender liner on this side. I just need to pick up the clips for it, but I'm hoping I can get the fender liner because this is just from the one drive, from the Christmas drive. So I really need to get that fixed, and then I really want to get bigger tires on this because these little 15 by 6s are not playing really well with me. I just like having bigger tires in general, and then everything else is pretty much looking, you know, decent like a normal car would. The fluid levels are okay, I believe. I just want to double check that. So yeah, I'm at the minimum, you know, I'm at the maximum line on that. Everything else, it's just kind of looking dirty. The oil I checked was okay. There's a couple other things I really want to work on. I had broken this piece here, and it was all glued together, and then I had touched it and it had rebroke. It's like a vacuum booster for the brake or clutch. So I just have to kind of reseal that and hope for the best. Only because replacing it requires redoing the whole brake booster, and I am just not in the mood to do that right now. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and put the strut tower caps on eventually from my other Mini, so I can run those on this to protect the strut towers until I can figure out a solution for this, or if I'm going to go to a show, just swap it over for the day. But other than that, you know, I don't think it's looking too bad, so I'm going to go ahead and get the bumper off first. Alright guys, so I've got this pretty much taken apart. The only thing that's stopping me from pulling the bumper off is this like self-tapping screw that won't back out, so I can't put it either direction. And I can't really get the washer off to rip everything off. So I think my next step is to either cut the washer or cut the screw head, and just enough to where I can get it off. And then I'm going to pull the bumper off and then figure out what else is going on underneath that. So I'm going to do that now. Alright guys, I'm hoping this is my last one. I just need to kind of cut through this real quick. I've only got like a hair left to cut. I don't know if you guys probably can't see it from here, but I've almost cut through the whole washer. I just can't get this one little last piece. And I keep breaking the discs trying to cut it, so I'm trying not to cut the disc. And I got my pliers. So it's hard to keep grabbing the pliers. This is not supposed to take this long. I'm also trying not to do that. There we go. So I'm not gonna focus, but I did end up cutting that in half. I still gotta figure out how to get that screw out, but now I can pull my bumper off. Alright, now that the bumper's off, I believe the next part I gotta take off is that bumper support in order to take off the bumper brackets, the crush bar brackets or whatever the hell they call them on this car. And from there I'm gonna take I'll take the tires off and make sure this thing's up on jacks and slowly start pulling off the subframe. Okay, now that I've got the car up on jack stands, I can go ahead and pull the wheels off, and then I was reading the book on how to disassemble a bunch of stuff from the top. So I have to disconnect the power steering reservoir bracket and a couple of other pieces in order to pull everything apart, and then deal with the suspension. The rest of the stuff down there, the control arm end links need to come off, and I'm pretty sure eventually I'm going to end up replacing the suspension because I have a feeling they're kind of blown. So maybe on the hunt for some coils for my daily. And then of course some new wheels. I'm probably going to run the S-Lights just because I do want something a little bit bigger. So here's where I'm at. I've got PB Blaster on this bolt, as well as the tie rod end link, the sway bar, and the bottom of the control arm, because I need to loosen all those in order to drop the subframe. I've already unbolted the subframe bolts and brackets on both sides, so I pretty much just need to start undoing the suspension. And I think the only other thing I have to undo is the power steering pump electronics, because I've already undone the bracket, so this is all loose and off and ready to be moved. So I think that's all I had to do, and then I just got to unbolt the actual motor for it, and the subframe should be able to drop. I did realize that this motor mount is bad, so I will have to replace that. It's got a couple of these cracks, as well as the lower one I believe is bad, and then I have a feeling the transmission mount here is also bad. I do happen to have a spare, but I think that one is bad. So I'm trying to see if I can see it, and then I need to clean the filter and stuff like that. So I did get the fender liner for this side during the holiday party, so I can at least keep some of this stuff clean, and then I'll work on getting the other one along with a couple of the other random pieces that I do still need, because I'm just getting dirt everywhere up in the paint and stuff like that. So needs a little bit of work, but you know, slowly getting everything put together, and still trying to decide what kind of coils I want. So this car will be a little bit lowered on the wheels that I have now, because the tires are still good, and then eventually I'll probably throw my stock 17s on it. But you know, we gotta get the car running first. Alright guys, so I'm kind of at a standstill for right now. I'm still trying to get this control arm bolt off, and I'm having trouble breaking it loose. And because it's like 11 o'clock at night, I can't be making too much noise. But I did get the tie rods off of both sides, along with the sway bar end links on both sides. And then I noticed that the sway bar end link top on this one, on the strut, was loose. So every time I would shake it up and down, like move the sway bar end link up and down, it would clunk a little bit. So I have a feeling that may have been some of the clunking coming from the noise, coming from the, you know, the clunky noise coming from this side of the car. because it's always louder on this car than the other side. So I'm hoping that may be part of the problem, and I still do think the struts are blown, but we'll find out once I put everything back together if I do need to order and figure out what I'm going to do with the new struts. So I do got to wrap it up tonight, only because I can't get that done. I did spray some more liquid wrench on it, and we'll see how that works. Alright, so I was able to get the nut off the control arms, so I'm going to go ahead and use the spreader tool to go ahead and pop those off real quick. I got both sides already undone, and then the only thing I need to disconnect is the steering rack, which I will have to find. I'm sure it's somewhere under there. And then the power steering pump electronics is all I have left to disconnect. Once those are done, I should be able to drop the subframe and start pretty much do the control arm bushings real quick, put everything back together, and hopefully get this thing on the road soon, because I really want to get it back so I don't have to drive the truck every day. So I've been having trouble getting the control arm separated from the spline, the spindle, and I've been trying for a couple of days and haven't had any luck. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this vlog, and make sure you guys comment, like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to continue to try to work on this and get it finished.